Gulf War illness GRI, formerly known as Gulf War Syndrome GWS, Gulf War illnesses, and chronic multi-symptom illness CMI, is a chronic and multisymptomatic disorder affecting returning military veterans and civilian workers of the 1990-91 Gulf War. A wide range of acute and chronic symptoms have been linked to it, including fatigue, muscle pain, cognitive problems, rashes and diarrhea. Approximately 250,000 of the 697,000 U.S. veterans who served in the 1991 Gulf War are afflicted with enduring chronic multi-symptom illness, a condition with serious consequences. From 1995 to 2005, the health of combat veterans worsened in comparison with non-deployed veterans, with the onset of more new chronic diseases, functional impairment, repeated clinic visits and hospitalizations, chronic fatigue syndrome-like illness, post-traumatic stress disorder, and greater persistence of adverse health incidents. According to a report by the Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America, veterans of Iraq and Afghanistan may also suffer from Gulf War illness. Studies consistently indicate that Gulf War illness is not the result of combat or other stressors and that Gulf War veterans have lower rates of post-traumatic stress disorder (PTSD) than veterans of other wars.
Right, it's me, I'm back. My name is Corporal Vuco, excuse me, and I decided to focus in and sort of try and develop a mission statement because if you see my other videos, you probably know with my Gulf War illness, my mind will tend to just go wherever it may. So I thought, why am I really doing this? The reason I'm really doing this is because what I want to do is I want to warn the next guy what they have coming for them. You see, of the Americans that went over in the first Gulf War in 1990, 1991, 697,000 Americans went over there to give the people of Kuwait their country back. And of those, roughly 45% of them now are sick with symptoms of this thing they call Gulf War illness. And then a lot of those people, they ended up killing themselves.
Roughly 20 veterans a day commit suicide nationwide, according to new data from the Department of Veterans Affairs, a figure that dispels the often quoted, but problematic, 22 a day estimate, yet solidifies the disturbing mental health crisis the number implied. In 2014, the latest year available, more than 7,400 veterans took their own lives, accounting for 18% of all suicides in America. Veterans make up less than 9% of the U.S. population. About 70% of veterans who took their own lives were not regular users of VA services.
So let's see. So me, I was working at a nuclear power plant when my symptoms began, and eventually I was fired. And I spent the next 2 years thinking I was having side effects to medication and bleeding my retirement. After that, after my retirement was gone, I moved into my sister's basement. And the ironic thing is, in high school, my sister, she said when I told her I was going to join the Marines, she said, "Don't do it. Either you're going to die and everyone's going to forget about you, or you're going to become sick and the government's not going to take care of you." And I thought, you're thinking about the Agent Orange stuff, that kind of stuff, that'll never happen again. That's what I told her back then. Then for the next 2.5 years, I lived in her basement, and I went to the VA trying to find help with this stuff. And I never found, to this day, I have not found a single doctor within the VA that knows anything about the Gulf War illness. I either had to try and force the knowledge on them, or find one that was open-minded. And there were a couple of really great doctors, but most of them were really poor. And I understand why the suicide rate's so high, because you see, the VA did not save my life. My pain got so bad that I actually picked a suicide date. I told myself that after the 4th of July, 2017, sometime around that week, so July 11th, plus or minus a couple days, it was okay for me to go ahead and kill myself, because that pain from the Gulf War illness was just wearing me down, and nobody told me it was coming. But what I want to do is I want to warn the next guy, because nobody's warning them what's coming. And there's a lot of them out there that are still alive that have no idea that this hell is waiting for them. And all I'm asking you to do is just share my story and help me warn the next guy. And let them know, this guy, I saw him on the internet. His name's Corporal Vuco. He says that cannabis indica saved his life. And the only thing I want you to do is just share my story. Thank you, and Godspeed.